Hey y'all, it's your girl Rocky Road, and we're going to talk about Johnson from Bounce TV. It's a primarily black cast. It's a good show. It's giving you relationships from the male point of view. They did a very good job as to showing black men in the everyday setting, not a stereotype, but the different personalities and not making them look crazy. They all are good men in their own right. They're just different from different walks of life. They're all friends, and their last name is Johnson. They call themselves brothers from a different mother. So just to get in the cast, Jarvis is played by Derrex Brady, Keith by Phillip Smithey, Greg by Deji, Laray, Omar by Thomas Q. Jones, Eugene, which is Omar's uncle, and D.L. Hughley, and Bianca is played by Rosa Acosta. Episode 1, we find out that D.L. Hughley is a radio show host like he is in real life. And he's also Omar's uncle. His character is really not clear. They don't really get deep into him just yet. And I think they will. Or maybe they will never get deep into him. But nonetheless, he's still D.L. Hughley. Omar is a good guy. He's going through a divorce. His wife is trying to paint him as having anger issues. She wants full custody of their son. So he's got that going on. And it's unclear as to why they're going through a divorce. Greg's girlfriend wants more commitment from him. She's trying to figure out why you won't even leave a toothbrush at the crib. Of course, he has a reason for that. Not to say it's a bad one, but he has a reason. He's saying that last time he left a toothbrush with a chick, she used it for her edges. Baby, I wouldn't leave my toothbrush either, okay? So Jarvis, he's a real estate owner, and he's married to a Caucasian woman. She's typical as far as personality and looks is concerned. Keith is a photographer. He's in love with this girl, Bianca. She's an Instagram model that he takes the pictures from. He can't get no money from her because he likes her, and then he doesn't want to turn her off. It's a lot of things, and he's kind of like a pushover when it comes to women. He's a really good guy, and unfortunately, you know how women are. They'll see a good guy and run his ass over, but then they'll complain about ain't no good men. That's the conundrum and the craziness that be going on. So he passively asks her for payment, but then turn around and ask her for a date. So now you trying to mix business with pleasure. Honey, you're never gonna get your money. She really gonna spend you like a tie. What is this shit about? Bianca lives in a small apartment, and she sleeps on an air mattress, no shade, but you know, typical. They kind of painting her as a beautiful and shallow, superficial woman. She seems nice, but her motives are questionable. And I'm not saying like she's a bad person, but you know how some people just be in survival, child. Like I said, she has a air mattress in her apartment. People be on survival mode. So here is this little nice man. He's taking my pictures, you know, let me spin him like a top. She won't tag him in the shit. She won't pay him. And he's just sitting there like a puppy dog. Because of this, now the guys get together, right? And so Omar decides as a test to leave his number on Bianca's Instagram to see if she'll call him back, right? Well, she did. The episode ended with her calling him back, and now he looking crazy because he's trying to figure out how is he going to tell Keith. He don't want to break his friend's heart, you know? So episode 2, it comes in swinging hard. It's so funny because these episodes are short, but they pack so much in them. And it's cool, right? Because, you know, some of these shows, they will drag the shit out. And nothing wrong with it if it's good, but, you know, they be dragging it sometimes. So they come in. Omar's telling Greg about how the girl called him, Bianca, played by Rosa Acosta. And, you know, Greg, like, you gonna have to tell him. And of course he know that, but he just like, the problem is, you know, Keith always romanticizing and thinking these women's gonna be his wife, anybody that he likes. So that's the conundrum that's going on with that. Now Jarvis's wife wants him to add more diversity in his friendships. Diversity. And remember, I told you she's married to a Caucasian woman. Here she go inviting Keith and Karen over. And child, they come over with some dish with some raisin in it. Not the raisins, baby. Not the stereotype. It makes for good TV though, don't it? So they get in a passive aggressive conversation with this couple. It's kind of like them competing for accomplishments. You know how it's painted as it's just friendly conversation, but really what you doing versus what we doing type shit. And so Jarvis is kind of struggling as far as selling houses. His wife goes and says, he ain't sold a house in 6 months. Now, girl, you doing too much. Now, you know this is between me and you. What are you doing? Sit back, chill. Keith goes on, gets to bragging, but of course, he's gotten promoted or something, but his dad owned the company. And so he's telling Jarvis, like, I mean, you can come to one of our events, the golfing events, and we'll see what we can do, you know, hook you up or whatever. Now, mind you, before all of this even happened, Jarvis was trying to sell a house, and the white couple was trying to play him like, you the owner of this company for real? So, he already been going through it. And I think his wife, I think her privilege allows her to act like she don't know what's going on. Or maybe she don't. Like, maybe really her privilege doesn't. But she, in my opinion, will never really come to Jarvis's defense for real, understand where he's coming from, because they from two different lifestyles. And see, that's my thing too, not to shade interracial couples, because whatever you do is for you. If it works for you, I can't knock that. That's not my business. But for me, if I were single, I could never marry like that outside of my race, because it's a different culture. Relationships already come with their complexities to even be diving in that. And then next thing you know, y'all rolling on the ground because of some bullshit. Somebody done said something out the way, something didn't happen. We don't have no time for that shit. So we just gonna keep it over here in the community. I deal with my community's dysfunctions, whatever that's gonna be. Well, of course, his wife paints it like, she has his best interests at heart, but really, I think she just want to keep up with the Joneses, keep up with her friends and her colleagues. That's what I think. But hey, and I also noticed that by him being married to her, it enables him, he kind of starts acting crazy when it comes to black issues too. He kind of, he be trying to always get that objective point of view. No, this is some bullshit. Quit playing now. Your wife not sitting right here. You know what's going on now. Keep it 100. Gray's woman is still battling with the whole commitment thing. So she's at her job doing like a lot of women do, talking to her friend, coworker, talking too much. And so she gets on home. She, she got an attitude or whatever, and she don't really want to let him in. But he comes over, Greg do, with some food. You know how we like to eat, baby. He didn't came with some food, so she let him in or whatever. So they were fine after that. But let's get back to this Keith, though. He is so precious. And do you know his mama do his laundry? That's how precious he is, honey. And it's so funny because he really is a good guy. But, unfortunately, a lot of these women, especially a woman like Bianca, would look over him and just spin him like a top because he's so easygoing. So Keith do end up asking Omar, did Bianca call him? So of course Omar didn't tell him the truth, right? Because he don't want to crush his boy. We gonna see how that turn out. Omar has his own issue with his wife, his estranged wife. Now again, remember they going through a divorce. We don't really know why. That's unclear. Here it is. He shows up to his son's basketball game, of which he's asked his estranged wife the time. She curved him, act like she didn't get it and all this nonsense. But the games that be playing out here, she trying to win a case, so she gonna play crazy. So he gets an exchange with an older man because he's sitting up trying to tell the ref to let their son in the game, come up off the bench, let my son up off the bench. And everybody else behind him like, hey dog, hey, we got kids and stuff too. It's not like it's just all about your kid. Sit down. They really want him to sit down and shut up. So him and the old man get an exchange, which ends up having him removed from the gym. Now the problem with that is Omar had been talking to his attorney, and the attorney was telling him basically, you don't want no mess where she could use against you. Well, somebody messy. It's always somebody pulling out these damn phones, recording everything. Somebody recorded it. So now it's a possibility she could use it in court as him being angry, because she already trying to pay him as angry. So episode 3 comes in. The attorney is telling him he might need to take anger management classes, because we need to combat whatever this woman gonna come with. I done already told you. Now you're not listening. You don't have to react to everything. Did what that person say hurt you? No, you doing too much. Greg and his woman, they good. They showed them being a couple, and Keith still trying to get paid for these pictures, baby. He hasn't flagged them, took them down like his boys told him to. He done went salsa dancing with the girl. He felt crazy because she started dancing with another guy. He's really feeling like what is this really about? He being played to the left. He approaches her again about payment, and you not tagging me in my pictures and all that stuff. And she, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna tag you now. Then somebody pull her attention away. Then she pull up on him at the light, talking about why you ain't answering my phone call and all of this stuff. Listen, I really don't know what's going on with Bianca. Just from now, all I can say is I think she's using Keith to her advantage. I think she thinks he's a nice guy. I don't think she's trying to be malicious. I think that she's like a lot of these women out here. She's living her hot girl summer. She's single. She feel like she could talk and do whatever she want to do, and she hasn't even figured out yet that Omar and Keith are friends. So we're gonna see how that goes. So the friends had a little poker game at D.L. Hughley, Eugene's house, because he's the uncle. And of course they lost, but they was talking about disciplining children and all that stuff. And his uncle didn't know he was going through a divorce, but he just told him, like, you might need to take them anger classes, you know, for your kids, to do what you got to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how this season continues to play out. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to go deeper into D.L. Hughley's character, but we're going to get to the bottom of what's going on with Miss Bianca. And somebody needs to speak to Keith and give him some game. It's okay to be a good guy. It's okay to be a nice guy. All of that. But you got to kind of curve some things a little bit. You know, stop wearing your heart out on your shoulder. It's so funny because when I look at Keith, I think about my son. You know, my son is so precious. These women are so dizzy. They so dizzy in the noodle. And they take a guy like that and ruin them. So, I don't know. But that's my review, y'all. Make sure you watch it. It's a good show. Seriously. It's a really good show.